Whoa, there's like an alligator on top of a car out there. That's really weird. I completely lost my train of thought.
Heart ache to the bone. All strung out in stone. Wondering where you're hanging out.
From about the age of 17 onward, up until, I don't know, recent years in my life, I wanted the life of Steve Malkmus from Pavement, or Isaac Brock of Modest Mouse, or Doug Marsh from Built to Spill. Those are some of my favorite bands as a kid and growing up. A really important thing to note about each one of those artists is the fact that they've put a lot of work in the back end, and over the past 20 years, or even more since the 1990s, now I see the fallacy in that type of thinking, and I don't know if it was just youthful arrogance or me just being completely delusional about what's realistic and what's not realistic. But I feel like I've gotten a lot better at managing those delusions. Cat bro. I mean, it's definitely a strange and embarrassing thing almost for me to talk about, but not because I've never achieved the sort of success that I thought I was destined to or that I wanted to, but more so because of the disconnect from that goal that I had to be like those dudes or to achieve some kind of success in that realm of music versus how I thought that I was going to go about getting there. I had no actionable steps to achieve that goal. All I knew was I'm here and I want to be there. I want to be a famous, known musician in a specific genre of music. Now, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that, but it's important to keep that in check because I feel like that can go very quickly from something that makes sense or this lofty goal that you have, which is fine, but if you have no way of actually getting to that, if you have no roadmap as to how you're going to get there, if you're not constantly assessing what you are achieving currently, and not only with yourself, but as you get older and realize that that goal that you had is probably not going to happen, you're going to have to come to terms with some very serious shit. I wouldn't say I gave up on the dream. Since doing the channel, I've had more and more people interested in the things I'm doing, both creatively on my channel and also in my personal music world. So that's really cool. I would say that my goals have definitely changed. Like, I don't really have much of an interest in achieving that kind of success, that kind of fame, whatever. I think the game has changed considerably from the romanticizing of how I used to think about it and feel about it to how things are with it today. I think a big reason for me as to why I wanted that to achieve that goal was because you're doing something creative and you're traveling. And what I realized about myself, and this is why I always say, make sure you do something you want to do today. What I really wanted to do at the end of the day was travel. And I thought that by achieving this goal of being a touring musician, an indie musician, I was gonna be able to travel. And you can do that travel goal by just traveling. But if your goal is to be king of the hill, top of the heap, a #1 indie rocker or any kind of artist, make sure you have some kind of actionable plan in place to achieve your goal, to achieve your dream. Because I think the line between dreams and delusions, at least in my own personal life, there is no boundary. It's great to have dreams, but if you have no actionable way to achieve those dreams, they very quickly just become delusions. You know, you're not going to get what you want by never putting yourself out there, by never going to play a show, by never going to put something out. It's like shit is just not gonna fall into your lap because of what you want. And that's something I've learned from doing YouTube for the past year is, you know, showing up is so important. Every week for a long time I committed to at least 1 video a week, bumped it up to 2, bumped it up to 6 at one point, and now we're back down to like 3. I had never committed to doing something like that, especially when it came to music. I never said, okay, I'm gonna play 1 show a week. Okay, I'm gonna go play 1 open mic a week. And I think part of that was because the reality of what I thought I wanted and the reality of what it actually was were so far apart that, I don't know, it just made me depressed. It was easier to maintain the delusion, maintain the dream by saying that what you were seeing in reality is not the way it's supposed to be. It's not the way that you're envisioning it, or I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is don't lie to yourself about what it is you want and where it is you are and where it is you're going. In today's world, you know, one of the biggest stories in tech and everything else is analytics. There are so many ways to track what people are listening to, what people are watching. And I don't mean just, you know, popular stuff. I'm talking about even my own channel. I know I keep bringing it back to myself. It's all about me. You know, there's so many ways to to see if what you're doing is actually garnering attention that you want, or to see if what you're making is actually getting out there and finding new fans and finding new people that are into what you're doing. The beauty of the internet when it comes to creativity today, I think, and artwork and making your art, is that you can really track what is going on with what you're putting out there. And that's something I've been doing on the channel too, is reassessing certain videos I'm making certain ones, dropping certain others. But that also brings up a great point, is if you want to just do something for fun and put it out there, do it for fun and put it out there. It doesn't have to be, not everything has to be the silver bullet that changes everything for your life. And I think that conception, that misconception about the way things are today, is there's not just one leap that's going to give you everything you want. Everybody either wants everything at all at once, or they don't want anything at all. And that's just not how it works. You know, all this stuff is a staircase. It's not a ladder. It's not an elevator. You can't just get in on one floor and shoot up to the top. And if you do that, it's not going to sustain what you're trying to do. The big story of the 21st century is analytics and data. You know, look at Facebook, look at YouTube, Twitter, all these huge tech companies, Apple. Part of the reason why all those companies are so valuable is because of the amount of data that they're collecting on every single person and every single person's online habits in a way that was never able to be collected in the history of humankind. But as somebody who is just a layman, as somebody who's just doing something in their house, this is something I touched upon in one of the other videos about Be Cool Cowboy and about singles versus albums, that series we did a couple weeks ago, and why I decided to put out a single or an album, because I noticed on my Bandcamp analytics that, guess what? Whether I put out an album of 8 tracks or a single of 1 track, I had the same exact response. So I could kill myself like every year or every few months trying to put out an 8-song album, or I could just put out a single more frequently that's going to garner the same amount of attention and get me to my goals faster if my goals are to grow my audience for my music. But this is all stuff that I think is fascinating, from where I was to where I want to be and where I am now. Being able to tell where people are actually listening to your music, if people are actually listening to your music, the responses you're getting from your music. If you're delusional, I'm sorry to say, but you know, you can now find out if your delusions are reality, or if your dreams can be real, or if they're just delusions. Obviously, if your goal is to just have fun, then fuck analytics, it doesn't matter. But if what you're trying to figure out is what people are listening to of what you're making, or if people are actually even paying attention to what you're doing, start tracking your plays. Start looking at your Spotify counts, you know, start tracking your music video views and people engaging with your stuff online. What is getting your message out there and what isn't? You got to go where the people are, and all the people are online. I guess what I'm trying to say is analytics don't lie. And for a long time, I lied to myself about the things I was doing and where I was at and where I thought I was going. And that's something I had to come to terms with, you know, and I'm just hoping to pass that knowledge along to somebody else, because for a long time, as embarrassing as it is, I just thought I was on a fucking rocket ship heading up into the stratosphere, and it turns out I was just digging myself down deeper into depression.
Come along.
Shout out to Jay for inspiring this video. Definitely has one of the healthiest attitudes when it comes to music and what he's trying to do. He just wants to do his thing and have fun. Hope the sound's good on this. Hopefully it's not too windy. It's kind of cold and windy out here, colder and windy there than I thought. So drop a comment, let us know what you think. What do you think about the analytics? Are you just having fun? Do you want to do more with it? Have you had delusions about it in the past? And what snapped you out of it? Or are you still in it? And what's gonna help snap you out of it? Hit us up, let us know. We'll catch you on the flip flop. Do something you want to do. Peace.